Hello everyone, welcome to the Ginger Snap Series Christmas Horror Month. We'll be discussing horror movies that came out on Christmas time in a very blunt way. I'm your host, Steven Harrold, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my review for Gremlins, which was released on June 8th of 1984, celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, and was directed by Joe Dante. Now, to some people, this is not really a horror movie, but, well, it kind of actually fucking is. I mean, we do see deaths in the movie, and yes, of course, as we all know, it's a Christmas movie because it takes place during the Christmas season. This movie was given quite the baggage back in the day because a certain demographic basically went to go see this movie because it's all got cute, cuddly, fuzzy creatures, and a lot of parents weren't very happy about it. But nonetheless, 40 years later, this movie is still celebrated, and it's one of those movies that a lot of people tend to watch around the Christmas season from time to time, and it's definitely one of those films I like to watch during the Christmas season. So, in honor of Christmas Horror Month, let's get into this review for Gremlins. So for the story of this film, of course, we have a father who is an inventor. He goes to Japan, and he ends up encountering a store clerk who has this certain creature, a mogwai, and he kind of wants to get it for his son for Christmas, but didn't want to sell it to him, but it ends up getting in his possession anyways from the little boy in the store. Now, he goes back to the States, goes back to his home, to his family, gives the boy the mogwai, and he has to follow 3 specific rules for these creatures, and sure enough, he doesn't really follow them. And then a whole slew of misfortunes ends up happening. So he has to basically save the town from all these gremlins. So for the story of this film, it's a very, concrete type of film that would be catered to kids. And back in the day, a lot of horror movies were actually catered to kids anyways. For the story being set in the Christmas season, it kind of makes sense. It actually does very much fit well. And with how it goes with this film, especially this switch that we get from this very Christmassy family type of movie to a comedic horror film, it fits very well, and it's one of those films with the story that just fits. It actually works, and it's a delight to see. For all the protagonists in this movie, I mean, we have the lead of this film, Billy. He is the one that gets the mogwai, or as he calls Gizmo in the fucking film, and he's one of those characters that is very likable throughout the whole entire film, just like Kate is. Kate is the love interest of Billy, and she works with him too at this bank, and she ends up having a very dark story because she basically just doesn't like the Christmas season, and there's a reason why she doesn't like the Christmas season, which I'll get to. You also have his father, who's in every scene, like, there should be something when one of his inventions go wrong, and it basically just, like, he's like, it's okay, it's alright. It's like, no fucks given whatsoever. This film also has Dick Miller in here, who is the neighbor, who plays Murray. God rest his soul, by the way. Just one of those kind of fucking neighbors that, just knows all about that shit with, like, making shit, building shit, fixing shit, and he's got this snow plowing tractor and everything, and he really hates, foreigner kind of things, like, all these cars that Billy's car doesn't work in goddamn foreign cars. It's like, okay, whatever. But even the mom, rocks it very well as a mother in this film. And then of course we got Pete, who is played by Corey Feldman in this film. Now, remember, if you guys remember when I did my Friday the 13th, the Final Chapter review, this and Friday the 13th, Final Chapter came out the same fucking year. So this was a big year for Corey Feldman, and he does not too bad in the film. I mean, he's barely in the film, but not too bad. Just for a short little bit here for the antagonists, there's not really much for the human antagonist for this film. I mean, like, you have the old lady who is just this conniving bitch. She's a landlord. She's just rude. She hates the Christmas season. She hates Billy's dog, and she's the female version of Scrooge, like, plain and simple. Other than that, when it comes to all the characters, both protagonists and antagonists, even though we barely get antagonists in this film, that are humans at least, they're all solid. They're all likable. They're all done very well. And they progress the story in a good way that makes this film actually very enjoyable to watch. Now let's talk about the creatures of this movie, the Mogwai, or specifically Gizmo, who, fucking funny enough, was voiced by Howie Mandel. I never fucking knew that, but now I do. Gizmo is one of the cutest fucking critters in the whole entire fucking franchise. I mean, there's only 2 films, but it's one of the cutest things, but also one of the ugliest things ever seen. It's basically how us 90s kids know it. Those Furbies were basically based off fucking Gizmo. I mean, just look at them side by side and tell me they're not. Gizmo is one of those likable characters, just so cute and cuddly and everything, but he comes with 3 rules. Now, as we all know what the 3 rules are, don't expose them to bright light, or even sunlight, basically. So every time they take a picture or the lights are too bright, it affects them, it hurts them. Especially sunlight, it kills them. Don't get them wet, which they find out very dearly what ends up happening there. They accidentally get Gizmo wet, and he ends up multiplying to other fucking Mogwais. Now, the most controversial rule of don't feed them after midnight, of course, it's still one of those things that still is debatable to this day, because a lot of people are like, well, what about time zones? I mean, like, what if it's 11 o'clock their time, but it's midnight somewhere else? It's one of those things where it's just like, whatever, it's just a fucking movie, guys. But when they do multiply and they do eat past midnight, they become these monstrous-looking gremlins. And one of them is led by Stripe, which is the lead of the whole entire antagonist in this whole entire movie. But when it comes to them being gremlins and just causing havoc throughout the whole entire town, the minute Stripe goes into that fucking pool, it's one of the most entertaining fucking things. I mean, you see them at the bar, they're all drinking, smoking, partying, and all that kind of shit. They're in the movie theater watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and shit. And it's entertaining. It's almost like you could kind of fucking hang out with these things, but they're murderous as hell. So when it comes to the Gremlins, both the good and the bad Gizmo, they're done very well, especially with puppeteering and special effects, mechanical work, puppeteering. It's just amazing to see. And for what they were able to do, they look phenomenal, even 40 years later. Now, of course, when it comes to this movie being a horror film, there's got to be some gore and kills, right? Well, there are. We see the science teacher get killed. I mean, I wish I could say Murray was killed, but he wasn't. We have to find out in number 2. A bunch of people get killed. Even the old bitch gets fucking killed, and her death is fucking amazing. She just gets launched up the staircase with that fucking electric chair that goes up the stairs, and she just gets launched out the fucking window. Like, goddamn, like, bitch deserves it, but whatever. The main things that get killed in this movie are the gremlins themselves. I mean, that mom takes out fucking 3 of them in the kitchen alone. She stabs ones to death. She fucking puts one in a fucking weird ass blender and kills that one. No question. And then another one gets killed in a microwave, and it's like, holy fuck, she's taking them all down, left, right, and center. Holy shit. And then you see one get its head cut off. You see the theater get exploded into fire, and they all fucking die. Basically, that's a lot of the deaths. I mean, we do see this guy dressed up as Santa getting killed or attacked by them. But when it comes to the gore and the kills, it's, the kills are basically on the gremlins themselves. And, they bleed green blood, right? So, I guess that was a mandatory thing that has to happen. They can't have too much fucking blood. Thanks, Steven Spielberg. But I want to say that's probably a studio thing. But, I mean, even if the gore and the kills are all coming from the evil gremlins themselves, it's alright. They're not bad. I mean, they could have been better. There should have been more human deaths. But, like, I remember the mom was supposed to have her head cut off and thrown down the steps or put in the tree. I don't know. It was in one of the original scripts. But they decided not to do that because the mom, that was just fucking harsh. And so it's a good thing they just didn't do that. For this movie being 40 years old, and a lot of people still watch it from time to time, especially around the Christmas season, it's very fitting. Why I think this movie also is kind of weird being released in June. I don't know why back in the day they decided to release a lot of like winter type movies or Christmas type movies in the middle of fucking spring and summer. I don't understand why. I mean, like, that's one of the reasons why The Thing fucking bombed at the box office. It's like, it's a movie that takes place in Antarctica and was released in the summertime. Stupid decision. But other than that, with a film like this that ended up only having one sequel after, it has left its lasting impression. Now, this movie to me is only a good viewing for the holiday season. It's not one of those movies that you just watch from time to time because it just feels weird watching a movie that takes place in the Christmas time, like in like fucking August or September or hell, even like July or June. Hell, even May and April. But other than that, like, the movie is solid. The characters are good. The score is really good too. The fact that it's a Christmas theme, it's not too bad. But the one thing that really kind of hurts this film is that even though it's 40 years old, it still holds up today. It's one of those viewing experiences that's like, you have to watch it once, at least once a year, and that's it. You watch it multiple times, it kind of just, loses its luster. So, other than that, the movie's still solid. So, for my review of this film, it has come to an end. So now, when it comes to a rating, how do I base this rating? Because it's an enjoyable film, but it's a film you only watch during a certain season. Much like other movies we're going to be doing on this whole Christmas horror month. But, nonetheless, I think this is going to be the fair rating for this film. For my rating, I'm going to give Gremlins a 6.5 out of 10. So guys, what did you guys think of Gremlins? Is it one of the films you end up watching from time to time during the Christmas holiday season? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you get notified about all the other videos coming out on the channel, especially during the holiday season. Other than that, guys, that's it for me. This has been the Ginger Snap Series, Christmas Horror Month. I'm your host, Steven Harrold. I will talk to you guys later, and have a very spooky Creepsmas. Yeah, we're not saying Christmas, because fuck that. We're going to call it Creepsmas. That's just a new thing now. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.